After a video emerged last year of anti-abortion campaigners filming people outside an abortion clinic in East London, an online petition was set up calling on the Home Secretary to create a legal exclusionary zone outside abortion clinics. More than 116,000 people have signed it. But joining me now to talk about this is Ruth Rawlins from anti-abortion group Abort 67 and Kerry Abel from Abortion Rights, a group which wants to defend and extend women's access to abortion. I'll start with you, Kerry, first. Why would you want an exclusionary zone around abortion clinics?
I think actually we just want this. We want women to have access to the clinics. It's a legal service. It's their right to choose to go and have an abortion, and we want women to be able to do this free from harassment. I think it's more the harassment that we're concerned about than the exclusion zone. I mean, I think it's a shame actually that the police have said that this is the only solution and that they haven't used existing legislation. It's not particularly about an exclusion zone. It's about making sure that women can go to clinics without being harassed, without images on the street, and for everyone else to not have to see that and judge the people going into the clinic as well.
So, Ruth, this is obviously a traumatic private medical experience for those going to abortion clinics. Why should they be faced with protesters on the way in?
Well, what we do, we don't protest. What we do is we do a public education project. So we show the service that these abortion clinics are providing within their clinics. So we agree that women and no one should be harassed, and there are anti-harassment laws. However, we are not harassing women. If we were harassing women, then the police would have arrested us, and the police are there out watching us on our display, and they've commended our behaviour, and so we're perfectly peacefully exposing what the abortion clinics are doing to the unborn child.
It's a freedom of speech issue there, surely, as well, Kerry, that, you know, you might not agree with them, but they want to protest. Is that a fair comment?
I think it's an access issue for health services for women, actually. I think it's about the enabling. I mean, it's very interesting that they're outside the clinics, because you can have freedom of speech anywhere, can't you? But you choose to go outside the clinics to do it. And I think, I don't know what your definition of harassment, but I think those images are very graphic, and they're there in residential settings. And I think that it in itself, it's there to intimidate, and women have said, you know, it's on the women who've gone into the clinics have said that they find it very intimidating. And actually, the evidence in Brighton where it happened is that women, it's not changing people's minds. What's happening is it's delaying the process. So women are turning up to the clinic feeling harassed and intimidated by the spectacle, going home and then realising that, you know, things haven't changed, and they go back to the clinic at a later date. So it's changing the gestation period rather than changing their mind. So I think, and that's you know, has an effect on their health. You know, it's a different type of termination further along.
Can I say, Kerry? You mentioned that you said that the evidence has shown that women are not changing their mind. I mean, I heard the wonderful news yesterday, got a message saying that a lady whom we met outside an abortion clinic 7.5 months ago, her baby was born last week, and she sent us a picture. And, you know, these women are grateful to us because they say things like, had you not been there, my child would be dead now. So we are seeing women change their minds. We are seeing babies' lives being saved, and these women are thanking us. And it's simply because the abortion people are withholding information. They're not letting them see what abortion does to the preborn child. They're not telling them the full facts, you know, that the heart is beating at 21 days, that it has all, you know, when the limbs are there. They're just, you know, it's deception. And BPAS and Mary Stopes and Abortion Rights are involved with deception. They're deceiving women and not giving them the whole truth. And we are there to show women the whole truth. We work as a consumer protection.
I find that disingenuous, to be honest, because I think if you have a problem with abortion, it's a legal health matter. If you have a problem with it, then, you know, why aren't you taking this to the lawmakers to do something about it? Why are you focusing in on women in vulnerable situations directly?
But you said that we're withholding access. We're not withholding access.
I asked you
we're
a question.
simply just showing them the information, telling them the information. If the woman doesn't want to hear us, she can just walk straight past. And many women do just walk straight past if they don't want to engage in conversation. So we are not blocking or withholding access. We are telling women the truth, and many women thank us for this.
Is there not an issue, though, that people are not walking past because these are big graphic images sometimes that are being shown up? This is not a leaflet that someone can pick up. This is very confrontational.
Well, yeah, because we want women to see the truth. We don't want them to find out afterwards. Oh, like when we meet women and they say, oh, I didn't know it had arms and legs, you know.
But why can't you give someone a leaflet and say, please read this, alongside what you're going to read in the clinic, because rather than subject everyone walking past.
Because we want everyone to see what abortion is doing. We want everyone to see that abortion violently kills a preborn child. We want people to see that. People on the buses go by and see it. The general public see it, and people are outraged to realise. Some people don't even realise that it's an abortion clinic, you know, behind us. So they're outraged to think that this is going on in our neighbourhood, and that's why this back off campaign is here, is because they're realising that you know, public opinion is changing, and they're scared, and they're trying to shut us down using anti-free speech laws, trying to pursue anti-free speech laws, because the police can't shut us down. Because why? We're not harassing women.
I don't understand why you're saying public's behind you, because between 75% and 92% of people are pro-choice, depending on what question you ask. 1 in 3 women will have an abortion in her lifetime. This is a very common thing that women do. If 1 or 2 people have said that they've changed their mind, that is not indicative of the general situation. We're trying to make it accessible. Essentially, what you're trying to do is shut the clinic down, not just change people's minds. So if we don't have access to services, that affects everyone's right to be able to choose, you know, what decision they make. So it isn't as you say it is. It's actually quite damaging to the health service overall, and choices that women can make.
Do you want to close the clinics down? Is that your ultimate aim?
We're here to make abortion unthinkable. We're here to educate people that, you know, abortion, it kills a human being, and, you know, we know that human life begins from the point of conception, and we can't.
That's not scientific.
Well, yes, it's,
well, I mean, that is the point of life is a case of philosophical debate and science as well, which is it's open to interpretation. Please carry on.
But yeah, so basically, we want women to know the facts and know the truth that the abortion clinics are withholding.
It does seem sort of unthinkable that an exclusionary zone needs to happen in the sort of age of freedom of speech and all that we've been talking about recently. Surely we can get there without having to have police there. Is there not a way?
I agree with you. I'm not convinced of exclusion zones. I think what we're saying is harassment of women needs to stop, and women need to be able to access services without running a gauntlet of protesters outside. I think it's actually quite disingenuous to say you're giving information to women, because actually you don't trust them to make their minds up for themselves. They can get information. They know exactly what they're doing when they go to those clinics, and I think it's quite disrespectful to say that women don't think about things before they go to the clinic, or that they don't understand what they're doing. I think they well, I don't know how many. I think you're misrepresenting how many those are, because we know how many people have abortions in Britain, and we know how many people, what percentage of people support choice.
And what about the women that have had the abortions and not getting the aftercare in the post-abortion?
One of the issues that came up with this protest we talked about before was the issue of filming. Where do you stand on filming? Because if a media organisation wants to go and film outside a clinic, we would not be allowed to. It would be a privacy issue. Where do you stand on the issue of filming people outside?
Well, the reason we have to film is precisely for what we're talking about now. Because the abortion lobby are making false accusations about us to try and shut us down. First of all, they tried on our images, and then the images were passed in court that we're allowed to show them. And so now they're coming at another angle. They're coming at the cameras, trying to use the cameras. But we have to, and saying that we're harassing. So to prove that we're not harassing women, we have to video our displays. So we're videoing our displays. It's for our protection. And it proves, we can prove to the police, to anyone, that we do not harass, we do not block access, We are just simply there to have conversations, just like I'm having a conversation with you now, to inform and educate women. We cannot stop for women.
So it's a tricky. They say they need to film themselves to show they're not harassing, but then does that define harassment as well?
I think the woman you showed who was filmed on your show, and also I've seen other films of women who are turning up and being. This makes women really angry. It makes passers-by really angry that they have to see these images, and that they have women having to be put through this. And I mean, people know how it feels to be filmed when you're walking into a clinic. I mean, I think that in itself is an intimidation. I don't buy it.
But we're not filming women going into the clinic. We film our displays. Our cameras are purposely, you know, facing the other way. So
if I saw people with cameras, I think that if I saw people with cameras filming a street, I'd think that I was on camera.
And the woman you were talking about on the video, she was being filmed by a reporter working for BPAS. So.
As you know, this debate could go on for an awfully long time, but Kerry Abel and Ruth Rawlins, thank you both very much for joining us.